Hi guys, I'm gonna wait a moment and see if we get some more people on. I'm gonna be talking about time today and mastering time. I'm gonna be going live with Marnie, who is hi guys. I'm going live with Marnie, who is an executive coach for the Handel group in just a moment. Marnie is awesome. As soon as she pops on, I'll put her in charge. We're going to be talking about mastering time for about 30 minutes, which is going to be super fun. We're just waiting for Marnie. I just talked to her on the phone a moment ago, so she'll be on in just a second. Mastering time. How many of you guys have mastered your time? Like you feel like your schedule, your calendar is in alignment with your dreams? Anyone in the comments have like they're a master of their time? You feel like your calendar's under control. You accomplish everything you want to during the day. You never at the end of the day go, where did the time go? No one? We'll wait just another moment. Let a couple more of you guys get on before we start. I'm waiting for Marnie. She'll be hopping on in just a second. So hang tight with us. One more second, guys. We'll get her on. There's our Handel group. She's not on yet. One more second, you guys, and we'll get started. I'm just waiting for Marnie. Marnie from the Handel group is joining us, and we're going to talk about mastering time. It's going to be so good. There's our Handel group. And if Marnie will send a request to join the live video, and we'll get her on there. There we go. Send her, get her on here. Here she comes. There she is. I hear her. I don't see her yet, but I hear her. There's Marnie. Yeah, but your Zoom is causing feedback. I can hear it.
It is.
Yeah, it's giving feedback.
How's that? Better?
Much better. I think that's better.
I'm on mute. Is that better? Did I fix it?
No, I can hear myself and you coming back through the speaker.
Wow.
You can't usually run
better?
to... I think so. Yeah, I can barely hear myself now. That's tolerable. Much more tolerable.
Oh,
okay, you guys.
That's tolerable is not good.
Our devices.
I hate when I hear myself. It's awful.
I know our recording programs do not play nice together. Zoom doesn't play well with others. You guys, this is Marnie. Some of you have met Marnie before in live. We've done some webinars together. She's so rad. She's my coach. I've only had one little mini session with her. I was working with a different coach, but she's taking over because I just need her. She's coming for me. She's going to boss me around. But we're going to talk to you guys about mastering time today. And so I'm going to let Marnie take over. But I was asking them before you got on, like, how many of you are masters of your time? No one responded. So, but.
Come on, raise your hand. How many of you suck at time? You can raise your hand. How many of you suck at time? How many of you, look, if I said, right, that your relationship, a partnership, right, you need counseling.
Like anyone else need counseling?
You guys need some partnership counseling, and most of us, myself included, right, often do, right? I kind of like chuckled when I was like, I'm leading mastering time, and why I think I could do it, besides that I helped write the script, was because I battle with time often. Right. I do a lot of winning, but I wouldn't necessarily say do as I do exactly, because I'm a little bratty or a lot bratty when it comes to, I still get a shit ton done, but I get to time, and I would say my relationship isn't really necessarily a marriage with time. I'd say we're more like brother, sister, and we battle. It's like, and like time is like an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like thinks it knows better, and I think I know better, or I don't give a shit. So I think everyone should start thinking about your relationship to time and why time is so important to do. And this is probably a dumb, but it really is the currency of our life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
It's like there's a finite amount.
There
really is. Right? And I think most of the time we're brats because we're in like denial of that.
Yeah. I feel like the best example of that is you think that you are spending your time well, and then your screen report comes on your iPhone at the end of the week. And it tells you that you were on social media for however many hours. And you're like, I don't know why I didn't have time to take care of .
Yes. See, time brat, right? But I know I love those announcements. And I feel so much better when I've done better, but I still don't even really like swallow what it says I've done or what I did last week. So see, brat about it. I battle it all the time. So we're playing about time now because Selena and I are we're going to lead a workshop next week on the 16th at noon Eastern time. And we're going to do an hour just on time and figuring out like who you are and who you'd like to be about it, right? Because most of us are really, especially during this year, like COVID has like turned time on it's done a number. Right? And for any of us that have been a little bratty before, it really showed, right? It really took its toll on a lot of us because we had a lot more of, if you're working from home, you all of a sudden had a lot more of it. And if you didn't manage it, you whelmed by how much you had to do and didn't do, or how much you did and didn't get to go play, or you did. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and there's so many new excuses during the pandemic.
Who you want to be about time? Oh my God! Right? We're home again. The kids are still home. The kids went out for 2 days and are back. Like the kids, the pandemic, the Zoom calls, there's very good excuses. So, did you have some good ones?
Yeah, well, it's just really a time where we need to nurture ourselves, which was true, but also then that went too far. Like, it's okay to slow down right now because the world is in chaos. And it is true, we do need to be compassionate, but it became like a very slippery slope into I don't have to do anything because the world's a mess.
It's true, right? Like, I think like self-care had like a comeback. And it like deserves a lot, right? Except the level at which I think, often I get asked questions, right? And it was like difference between like self-care and like lazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because self-care is also keeping a calendar, right? Because a calendar is one of the ways we make promises to ourselves. Handel's favorite thing, your calendar are promises.
Yes. Yeah, right. And then we really believe in taking care of yourself and really like time of like do nothing. But most of us aren't, I don't say smart enough, but it's a sneaky thing because we're really, really smart, right? But there really is putting everything into your calendar and scheduling nothing time, right? And then I promise you'll never go, am I just being lazy? It's like from like 6 to 7, it's right, do nothing. Right? Like do whatever the fuck you want. That does not mean law, does not mean any of that, does not mean catch up on email time. It really means like sit the fuck back, play on whatever, play on Instagram time. And I promise you those times are so much more fun.
Yeah.
You're not wondering whether you should be doing something else.
Yes. Yeah, Michaela said the calendar is the time Bible, and that's so true. Like in the comments, like one of my yoga teachers, Naveen Mishan, she always says your calendar is personal religion. When you're on someone else's calendar, you show up on the Sabbath, it's Easter or whatever. So the way you keep a calendar is personal religion.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll talk about it in the workshop some more because I'll really show you like the like you'll look at it and go like, oh my God, that would drive me crazy to have that scheduled a life, but it really does trump overwhelm, right? Like, what if overwhelm is really just a shitty planned calendar?
Ooh.
Right? Like, what if, right? That we drive ourselves crazy and we get all stressed and we feel behind, and it's because you didn't plan what you knew. You probably said yes to too many things, right? And things in your head versus put them in the calendar, right? Anybody else guilty of keeping things in your head and all of a sudden, like middle of the night or before you go to bed, I didn't remember. Right? I have some of them, right? I'm a little like, I wish I could tell you that I wasn't a little old school and like a good Post-it note, right? Or I have a big whiteboard over here because I really am still a fan of like writing stuff down and crossing it off.
Mm-hmm.
But it really helps to put what you need, your calendar. And stop pretending like you've got this, you'll remember, or any of that, because the busier you get, the more kids that are home, like everything is a really good distraction.
It is, and it's like going
really proud of yourself.
Totally, and it's like driving to a new city and not bringing a map with you. You're driving around without a map if you don't keep a calendar.
Yeah.
And how do you get where you want to go if you haven't like chartered the course?
Yeah. Or like, and how do you ever get really proud of yourself? Because then if you didn't mark what you really wanted to get done for this week, then you're always left like a little, like, I wish I coulda, shoulda, any of that stuff, versus no, these are the 5 things I'm doing today. Time. Right? And most of us really play unconscious about how long things take.
That's such a big one. I started, so we realized, because I'm an overdoer and I'm like a creative, so I get all over the place, and I do keep a calendar, but I overcommit and I had no transition time between my activities. And so I was like always hyper stressed because I was like, well, I have a webinar that ends at this time and I teach yoga next, and then I have to be here. And so now my promise was scheduling in 30 minutes of buffer time between activities. So if I knew class ended at 12 and it was 20 minutes till I got home, I had to add another 30 minutes into the calendar of transition time between everything. And it changed my life.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, I find it fascinating the resistance we have to doing it, at least like personally, when I have to like, all right, I'm off to the dentist, and I'll really just put like 11 o'clock dentist, right? And I know 25 minutes, right? And because then all of a sudden it's real, right? And you're like, holy fuck, 3 hours I just took off for the dentist. But look, it's reality. Right? Of that. If I leave it that way, I could be like a martyr about people booking me and didn't really look at my calendar. But the truth is, they had no clue because I didn't put it in there on purpose. Right?
Yeah.
3 hours. Like, don't. You could call me in the car at this time and this time, but really putting my life to time. Right? Because here's the most awesome thing about time, right? We play like it's gravity, like it's just a fucking, right? And even though time is a noun, okay, don't text me, okay? Even though time's a noun, we're the inventors of it. We could make it anything, right? Sure, they're 24, right? But we don't play like it's a construct humans invented.
Yeah.
Right. And I could then have a little more power over it, a little more say over it, and start playing with it like it's mine.
Yeah, you get to decide how you play those things. Like we say in yoga class all the time, the sun doesn't rise and the sun doesn't set, but you rise and you set and the planet keeps spinning. So you get to decide how you organize yourself. Like early bird gets the worm, not necessarily, not if you're someone whose natural rhythm is to be up at night. So why would you force yourself out of your personal, circumstances that work best for you? So if you know yourself, you get to decide how you play with time to live your dream.
Yes. Right. And most of us don't walk around like we're that sort of inventor, we're that maestro of it, like here's what I want to happen, here's what's going to happen, or that inventor, right? We play what Handel group likes to call is weather reporters about it, right? We just like report about time, right? So we all have our favorite like theories about it, right? There's not enough of that. Right, I wish I had more. I'm not good at it. I'm a procrastinator. Like we just report as if I cut you open, I'd see procrastination. I wouldn't. So you have to start thinking about the shit you make up about time. And because again, another Handel favorite is you think what you believe you prove. Right. So if you think there's not enough time in the day, I already know what your looks like.
Yep.
Right. That's right. It's not pretty. It's not
100%.
Right. Or it's like occasionally like mine, it's like empty and you're like, Marnie, what? I was like, I'm writing all day, but it doesn't take care of me. I really just think that because there really are 15 things I need to write. And if I just keep like 20 tabs up on the computer, right? It leaves room for like grinding my teeth at night.
Yep.
Right? Anybody else big tab leavers? Do you do that too, Selena? I leave like 15 up there for fear I'll forget it.
That I'll forget.
That's why I at least know what's due for the week, right? And I think that's like genius. Right. And then my friend Linda, who was also my boss at the time, was like made me, and it like, I swear made me nauseous to like shut the tabs at night.
Oh,
like
that's, oh goodness. Yeah. Well, because that's closing the bookend on things. Like I always tell people that have sleep issues, you have to close the bookend on your day. And that's actually one of the genius things about calendars and taking care of time that people don't realize is the effect it has on your stress level. Because so much of stuff in your life that you're not doing is building up and it becomes this overwhelm, and it's dumb shit like dropping your power bill off. Or like little stuff that you could do in 2 seconds and you don't do it, and then it's looming over you. But if it's just in your calendar and it's first, then there's a bookend that closes at the end of the day, and activities can be carried over, and it's like, it's neat and tidy.
Yeah, same goes for tabs. I see someone there so guilty of tab terrorism.
I pinned that one because it was funny.
Right? Look at the like reluctance to shut them. You know what I mean? You're like, really? Shut them? Right? But again, if I shut them and one, put it into my calendar, right? So if I'm like, okay, I'll do that on Wednesday, it doesn't have to be up there anymore. Trust me, I can find it in my Google Docs. Like it doesn't need to be up there. It's not true. And I think it really does cause like that is stressful because I'm just putting a bunch of it's just an upgraded post-it note.
Yeah, it's staring at you. And that's so contrary to how we actually achieve things with consistency, which is taking off bite-sized chunks. And so having the tabs all staring at step of your dream, your task, whatever. Oh, we lost Marnie.
Yeah, it just like
there she is.
Like popped out.
Yeah, you were just so excited, flinging your ponytail around and your earbuds throughout.
I wonder what that is. But yeah, like, so everyone start to, especially before the workshop. So like come to the workshop knowing your form of tab terrorism. Yeah. Like what's your form of what you think helps you, but might possibly maybe cause some stress.
Yeah.
right? Of
Yeah.
overworked, or, I don't think anyone with like 20 tabs up there, and especially we have this cute woman that works for events, Danielle, she's adorable, but like when you get caught like sharing your screen, right? And everyone gets to go see, like, how do you even know what tab that is? It's so small, right? You know why she's stressed the fuck out and doesn't sleep well. Like, you're like,
Right.
like,
Right.
put them down, shut them. They'll be there,
Right.
I promise.
They'll be there tomorrow. And they don't need to be up there tomorrow if you've written out a list and it's on your calendar. I always tell my clients, my personal training clients and stuff, like, if it's not on your calendar, it's not going to happen. Else is going to distract you.
Yes.
Something else is going to step in. And learning to calendar as a verb, which I use that word as a verb all the time, is such a huge thing. And it's an art. And once you get the hang of it, and it's in sync with who you are and your dreams and stuff, it takes so much pressure off of life, because you know what's coming. You know that you have medical appointments on Tuesdays or whatever it is. And the stress comes off. And then you can be more creative. Because I think we're the most resistant to this as creatives.
Yeah. You like don't want to, personally, right? If I'm like 9 to 11 writing, right? And you're like, what if I don't feel like it?
Yeah.
Right? Or I'll get to that, But no matter what my head tries to sell me of like, you need to be in the mood to do it or whatever, or any of it tries to sell you. Truly, when I like shut your email off if you're really writing from 9 to 11, right? And it means shut Slack off, shut every fucking Bing off. Because if you're like me, it's very much squirrel, right? Like something better. And especially, to tell the truth, my writing, especially if it's comedy or if it's something I'm writing that's a little trickier than answering an email, I'll go to the email, right? So it's not all, oh my God, poor me, I have work, you're interrupting my creative process. It's I use you to stop my creative process, right? And it's only because I had no physical integrity there, right? Handel talks about personally all the time. There's also just straight physical integrity, right? Which is put your tabs down, which is put your all your to-dos in a calendar and follow it. Right? And by when are you going to do it? And it means shut down emails. It means don't answer the phone. You're putting in the right physical laws for you, right? Like don't answer the phone if it's the school or if it's this. Like there really are caveats to your laws, but start to know what your physical laws are, because most of the time we're just fucking brats about it. Right?
Well, and those are boundaries.
Right? And
those are also your boundaries. You're putting up a boundary with other people. You're putting up a boundary with technology. Like those are boundaries, and they're important. And you have to have social media boundaries, technology boundaries, phone boundaries, boundaries around your workspace, and or stuff. And that's so insidious what you're talking about, because you get to pat yourself on the back. I answered all my emails, but you weren't supposed to be answering emails. So it's so insidious and sneaky.
It is so sneaky, right? And we really forget that. But then we wonder why at the end of the day we're like, I need self-care. And it's because you didn't take care of yourself during the, which is honoring what you said you do. Right? Like for the people that, I remember I like changed a client's life by like it was like truly the easiest, stupidest thing to do was to get her to stop pushing snooze in the morning. Right? And it changed her whole life, because that's like your first time brat like gets to like round one, right, in the morning. You open your cute little eyes, right? The alarm that you set, right? Like you picked what time you said you'd get up, right? And at that moment is your first moment of hearing your inner dialogue. That's usually, if not always, rooting for the wrong team. Right?
Why do I have to do this? Why am I awake? This isn't fair. I worked hard yesterday, so I should be able to sleep a little bit. All the brats.
Oh my God. Right. And it doesn't like, truly, it doesn't matter that I like went to bed at 8. It still doesn't want to get up. It is still 4. It is still tantruming. It still thinks I deserve a little more. It still thinks my husband should go for a walk without me. It still like feels, I think my knee hurts, Selena.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it wants more sleep, even though it really had enough.
Yeah.
And me, my higher self, picked 4:45.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
Yeah.
when I got her to get, only because I had to get it myself, right? That was bullshit. And that you're starting every day already selling out, right? And you know, like, so round 1 goes to your brat every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
And
care
then the whole rest of the day.
What?
Well, and it's easier and easier the rest of the day to start making excuses for things about all your other areas of life, not just your time. Once you've been a brat first thing in the morning, then you can be a brat about work, and you can weather report about everything else, and it builds up throughout the day because you already broke integrity first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Oh my God, first thing. So it's like the easiest, and I know some of us are like late, you know, up late, all that kind of stuff, but it really is the easiest, like, first place to start, especially in starting to hear your lower self in the morning, right? Because I promise you, like, my poor 25-year-old son, like, wakes up disappointed in himself almost every day. Right? And that's optional.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially because, like you said, you get to decide what time you set your alarm for. So if you are like, what's the motivation? I always like to look at my intention and motivation. Like, what's my intention and motivation about the time that I chose? Am I doing it because it actually is in line with what I need to do? Like, go for a walk with your husband, go to work, teach my yoga class or whatever. Or am I setting it to someone else's time because I'm externally looking for validation and I think I'm supposed to do a certain thing? But if it's your higher self that chose the time, then you can conform to that, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, and then it's like battle on, right? And so I used to have a promise that Sunzo Group, we believe in personal integrity, promises, and consequences. It is learning how to keep a promise to yourself, because that really is, look, you keep a promise to your best friend, you keep a promise to your boss, you like, because there are consequences, right? Your friend would be pissed at you, your boss would fire you. There's consequences. We never really like consider that there's a consequence to not keeping a promise to yourself. You're like, oh, it fucks with my relationship with me, whether I trust what I'm going to say. So if I said 5:45, if I said 4:45, and I go, nah, don't feel like it, I'm like slowly, you know, whittling my relationship with myself. Okay, so we have you start to make promises, and in order to like talk feeling bad, I don't care. Don't feel bad about pushing snooze. Pay the piper. Okay, forget guilt. So I used to have, the rule was, so this is way in the beginning of my coaching, that if my feet didn't hit, like they really had to touch the floor within 2 minutes of my alarm, right? So little cold feet touch floor 2 minutes after the alarm. That's all I had. That's my wine for the night.
Oh no.
And I like my 5 o'clock glass of wine. I really do, right? And it was a little scary to find out how much I like my glass of wine, right? Because like my heart would pitter patter. It'd be like a panic of, did I make the 2-minute count? But the game, right, like had me, I swear, laughing first thing, like battle on, right? Yeah. And whether that, like, you know, boxing match bell, like who won?
Higher self.
Like happens every day. Yeah.
Well, and then you get to celebrate immediately. You get to celebrate your success first thing in the morning. You get to immediately be like, I did what I said I was going to do, on to the next thing. And you get to celebrate that. And it's such a huge thing. That's another piece of it. Like we talk about consequences, also celebrate your success every single time, because it triggers that little reward system in your brain. Like, I did it.
Yeah, it's so proud of myself. And you giggle, right? Like you giggle when you're like, feet on, what time is it? Because I'm in a game. being who I want to be, right?
Oh, that's it.
Of
That was
really
such a
doing
good
that.
line. I'm in a game of being who I want to be. That was such a good line,
Yes,
Marnie. I'm
right?
playing the game of loving who I am and loving who I'm going to be and playing that game.
Yes,
I love that.
yes. Yeah, look, and here's like the key, right? Because even if I like, fuck it, I'm not giving up, blah, 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 right? And Brad wins that round, and I lose my wine, right? I swear, what you don't know is that the chick that loses her wine that night and has to go like, really, right? I'm still like sparkly about it, right? Because I'm
Hmm.
still proud of myself for paying the piper.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
Because
have
that's
to go deal with, you didn't say beer. You can have, yes. Right. And you get to hear the chick that really pushed the snooze chick is talking to you about, no one will know. And does rose count? Like, I don't like it as
just,
much. Right. Like, you get to go hear what your head does for a living, which isn't fight for your dream. It's push
yeah.
snooze for the most part.
Yeah. And ultimately, that's what this has been talking about, time and giving you a little bit of insight into our own little battles of time. Ultimately, your time is about your bigger life dreams because you're not going to get your career dream, your wealth, your love dream, your community dream, all these, we have lots of areas of life in Handel, and you're not going to accomplish your dreams in any of them if you don't have your time under control, because you're not going to take the steps to do the career thing if it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be too busy.
Yeah. Doing
Feeling
nothing,
bad
spinning
and
around.
hoping and trying and doing that, right? And really just feeling like not even enjoying your time off. That is so like earned, but because you did like plot it to, you're just left not wholly proud of yourself. And that's such a bummer,
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
up to big things and want to be up to big things. It really
Yeah.
will always be a battle with your brat and chicken, but it's really easy to see
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
area of life. There's other areas of
Yeah.
life, we've got 12, but there really is, you see it around food, you see it around this, but time is key because it really truly is the currency of life. We fucking got, right? So you
Yeah.
gotta go really, especially as you walk around in COVID, it like woke us all up once again to how fine it is, how precarious life is, how short, right? Play
Yeah.
full out and really give a shit and fight for our dreams. And it feels so
Yeah.
small of, well, what's the matter if I push snooze and what's another 15 minutes? But I promise you, the same person that sets the alarm for 6:45 is and does it, their head wants to or not, and is the same person that says I'll go to the gym. The same person that says I'm going to make $1 million by X date is the same person that says I'm going to write a screenplay, and you could start to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just starts,
Yeah.
it matters,
Yeah.
your integrity about what you
Yeah.
say you're going to do, and to be
Yeah.
in that battle, because we all can be brats. We're all going to
Yeah.
fail once in a while, but
Yeah.
getting
Well,
the
and the
right
world,
battle.
the world's not trustworthy and the world's not safe. And if you can't even cultivate safety and trust with yourself, you're in a lot of trouble. Right. And every
Yeah,
time you keep a
all
promise
about
to
trust
yourself,
becoming
that's
trustworthy.
safety and trust. Yeah. Self-trust and
Yeah,
knowing your internal compass. And if you can't trust that because you lie to yourself all the time, that's a problem. Yeah.
yeah. So you make excuses, or we blame time, or
Mhm.
whatever else we want to blame. So
Yeah.
yes, time is a great one to work on and care about, and
So Marnie,
because it really
tell
is
them
all
what
a
we're gonna,
contract.
sorry, I didn't mean to,
It's quite all right.
but we already
It's
blew through like
it's
40
quite.
minutes.
Yes, we're doing a whole workshop on time, and so we played a lot with it today. We're going to go for an hour, and we're going to really nail your time, Brad, and about what do you mean? What should my calendar look like? I'll show, and so we'll for an hour. You have a good time. I promise. Nail where we're not living true to our highest ideal for ourselves, and really go deal with giving our time brats a tilt. Right?
Ooh,
So
our
it's
time brats a
the
timeout. That
16th
was good.
at 12 o'clock on the 16th Eastern time. Come with us. It's free. We're going to have a blast and get working on time. Yours and mine.
Yes. Yeah. So you guys, there's a link in my bio to register. Like Marnie said, it's free. It won't just be a chat like this. We're actually going to dive in and give you tools. Marnie's going to give you tools. We're going to work on calendars. We're going to dream about time. We're going to learn how to make promises we can keep and start to our journey towards being a master of our time. So it's an hour, like she said. If you can't make it live, usually they send the recording out as long as you are registered for the event. So in the past, I can double check on that, but there's a link in my bio. So sign up, even if you can't make that time, so that we can get the recording to you later to join us. Anything else,
If you're
Marnie?
too busy.
If you're too busy, if it's not in your calendar.
And if it doesn't fit in your calendar, okay? It's noon. So if you come have lunch with us, you could chew on the call, I swear. Don't worry about it. And yeah, no, we'll have a good time, as we always do.
And maybe before you come, you guys start thinking about what your relationship with time is. Are you married? Is it your sibling? Is it your worst enemy? Like maybe think a little bit about how you relate to time before you come so that we can help you. Yeah.
That's right. And maybe think about not pushing snooze tomorrow and putting in a little promise, or count how many tabs you have up.
I don't want to know.
See if you can see that.
Tab terrorism.
If you don't need your readers.
Right. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining us today and listening. I'll post this video if you missed part of the conversation. It'll be up later today in my feed under my Instagram TV, so you can rewatch it or listen in if you missed the call. And then again, link in bio to join myself and Marnie Neer. Again, it's free September 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you sign up so you get the recording, and let's all start mastering our time better. I'll see you on the 16th.
Right.
Thank you, Marnie. You're so awesome.
I'll see you on the 16th.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.
All right. I'll see you.